and we're getting ready to go here in the big one. The crowd today establishes an attendance record, and this series has been really, really well attended and enthusiastically attended. The stadium laid out facing the north and towards center field, right center field. The fans looking out at rolling hills and trees in the background from the Henry Doorly Zoo, a famous zoo, very famous. If you've heard of Mutual of Omaha, they've got a Mutual of Omaha exhibit over there. Marlon Perkins fame and all of that stuff. That's right across the street, and you actually look at that setting from here in the ballpark. It's gorgeous. In the distance beyond the Missouri River, we're looking over towards Iowa. The wind is blowing left to right today, toward the right field corner actually, so a good opportunity for left-handed hitters, and much like the other day, no opportunity for right-handed hitters. However, if you remember, Steve Rodriguez, when he came to the plate in about the 7th inning, it was, as a matter of fact, exactly the 7th inning, Rodriguez enjoyed still conditions. Later in the night, the wind stopped, and Rodriguez was able to hit the ball out to left center to bring the Waves from 1-4 down to 5-4 up and on their way to victory against Texas. The wind and the weather changes here regularly. You know, the old saying is, if you don't like the weather, wait a minute. And that has been the case in Omaha this week. We've had hot days, cool days, warm nights, cold nights, wet days. But right now, the weather is not a factor. It is blue sky, scattered puffy clouds above us, and we expect to have a nice afternoon. It was 66 degrees when they announced it here in the booth a few minutes ago, and we will look for only the wind to come into play, but no moisture, thank goodness, and we're going to get this one in. Pepperdine is going to lead it off, and Steve Rodriguez, the hero the other night against Texas, will be the #1 batter for the Waves, as he has been all year long and for 3 years. Rodriguez probably playing his last game. He's only a junior, a 5th-round draft choice of the Boston Red Sox. Likely he will sign a professional contract after the Olympic Games. Steve hoping to be the United States Olympic team's second baseman. He's been invited to camp, and he's done nothing in postseason play, and certainly here, to hurt his chances of making that squad. The first pitch of the ball game is inside for ball 1 to Rodriguez. On the mound for Cal State Fullerton is Dan Nolte. Nolte with a record of 13 wins and 3 losses, an earned run average of 3.47. Next pitch misses, and the count is 2-0 to Rodriguez. Nolte has thrown 122 innings this year, 95 strikeouts. Next pitch misses again, and the count 3-0 to Rodriguez. So Steve right away looking to get on for the Waves and get it started. One thing the club has done in each of its 3 games has been ahead in every game. 3-0 pitch inside and misses, ball 4. So on 4 pitches, Steve Rodriguez runs to first base, and the Waves have a base runner right away. Nolte mad at himself, snaps at the return throw, walks back to the mound, as his back to his catcher, Jason Moeller. Moeller talking to Nolte, saying, calm down now, calm down. Nolte very upset. The home plate umpire today is Dale Williams, and both of these teams know Dale Williams. He's the head of umpires in Southern California. So Williams has seen these guys a lot, and vice versa. Batting second for the Waves, Matt McElreath, 282 batting average, 7 home runs, 42 runs batted in. He takes way high in the count, ball 1, 1-0. So Nolte has missed on 5 straight pitches. Rodriguez with a lead and throw to first, and he's back. Nolte in the series has 2 wins to his credit. He's 2-0 in 12 innings pitched. He's allowed 8 hits. Throw to first again, Rodriguez is back. So Nolte not unfamiliar with this mound at all. And immediately Cal State Fullerton gets somebody up in the bullpen. After 5 pitches, throw to first, Rodriguez back standing. Well, you don't mess around, do you? You can't afford to get too far behind, especially the way Pepperdine pitchers have been doing the job. Next pitch, high ball 2, 2-0. Nolte has missed on his first 6. On deck for the Waves, Danny Melendez. He'll be followed by David Main. No changes in the Pepperdine lineup. The same order that the guys have walked to the plate ever since probably the last couple weeks of the regular season. 2-0 pitch, set and delivering, high strike at the letters inside part of the plate, and the count 2-1. So Nolte finally throws a strike, count 2-1 to McElreath. We'll see if the Waves have anything going here. First baseman D.C. Olson holding Rodriguez, opening up the right side of the infield for the left-handed hitting McElreath. Set is Nolte, throw to first again. Second baseman is Steve Cisco. Nate Rodriguez at shortstop. Phil Nevin, Mr. Everything, is at third. In left field, it's Tony Banks, Chris Powell, and Jeremy Carr. Left to right. So Nolte trying to keep Rodriguez close at first, thinking maybe the Waves have something going. Bill Springman, the coach at third, flashing the signs. McElreath now ready and back in there. Rodriguez goes. Here's the pitch. Strike 2 call. Throw to second. Rodriguez is in there with a slide. The throw was on the second base side of the bag, and Rodriguez had it stolen easily. McElreath protecting the base runner. He had an opportunity to do that, but took the pitch instead. It was a called strike, and the count is now level at 2-2. So Rodriguez, after the base on balls to start at Steele's second, and McElreath's job here now is to pull the ball to the right side and get Steve to third. 2-2 is the count. Setting is Nolte. Checks the runner, and the pitch is swung on, lined at third. Nevin with the catch. Rodriguez scrambles back to second base. So McElreath lines softly to third. Ball not hit very hard, but it was hit right at Phil Nevin. So with one out, here's Danny Melendez. Big left-handed hitter. Right hitting conditions for Melendez, a pull hitter, although he doubled twice the other day and both of them went to left center. So Melendez, the lefty, against the righty Nolte, with Rodriguez at second and one out in the top of the first inning. The first pitch, a little bit off speed, misses, ball 1. We told you Dale Williams, the Southern California guy, is behind the plate. First base umpire Larry Randall, Dick Zivick at second, Tom McKinney at third. There are additional umpires in the outfield on both foul lines today. Rodriguez with his lead. Here's the pitch. No, and that's 2-0. Al Davis is the left field line umpire. Larry Wagoner down the right field line. So the full complement of 6 out there today. 2-0, the count is to Melendez. Here's the pitch. Danny takes off speed for a strike, and the count 2-1. Just the start of the ball game. Pepperdine and Cal State Fullerton playing for everything. This is it, the College World Series championship game. Melendez hits it high in the air to left center, fading out in short, shallow left field now as the ball comes back in. Is Nate Rodriguez, the shortstop, and he makes the catch. So Melendez goes out on the pop-up to short. Or that wind is really going to cut the balls down. It's alternating between blowing in toward the plate and out toward the right field corner. Looking at the flag in center field. And with 2 down, Rodriguez still at second. Steve was there with nobody out, but McElreath is lined to third and Melendez popped to short. So 2 down, and here's David Main, the DH, batting .324. He takes high, ball 1, 1-0. Main, big lefty, swings and fouls it back off the screen, and the count 1-1. David batting .250 in the College World Series, 2 for 8. He has an RBI and a couple of doubles. On deck, Mark Wasikowski, the third baseman. Infield deep on the right side. Cisco and Olson back on the edge of the grass for the left-handed hitting David Main. Swung on and lined down the right field line, hooking toward the line. It's fair into the corner. It's going to be a double for Main, and the Waves lead it 1-0. So David Main goes right down the first base line. We had just told you that Larry Wagoner, the right field line umpire, had positioned himself right there. That ball landed about 20 feet from him, and he saw it clearly. The ball was inside the line by about 2 feet. So Main hooking a double down the line, and the Waves jump out on top, 1-0. Scoring is Rodriguez. Wasikowski now at the plate. Looking to pick up Main. First pitch way high, ball one, 1-0. Time is called here now as Fullerton associate head coach George Horton is going to go to the mound. There is a pitcher standing on the rubber in the Fullerton bullpen, but he's not throwing. It looks like Paco Chavez just standing there kicking at the dirt. There's a catcher in a squat position, but Chavez not throwing, just standing there watching. So obviously Horton just out there maybe to calm down his pitcher. Nolte, big tall right-hander, 6'5", 190. Pepperdine starter Patrick Ahearne has run down the right field line on the warning track to throw a little bit with Jorge Paz. Ahearne looking to keep it loosened up a little bit before he has to go out there in the bottom of the first inning. So the Waves have struck first. Main with an RBI double. Wasikowski looking to pick him up. Here's the pitch to Waz. Swung on and lined down the left field line, foul, and into the grandstand area. They will have better than 18,000 here again today. We mentioned it's an attendance record-setting tournament this year. They will end up averaging better than 15,000 people per session. There will be more than 153,000 tickets sold when it's all said and done. Is this a great event? Yes. The city of Omaha deserves plaudits. It can't be any better. All right, here's Wasikowski up with the count 1-1. Next pitch, off speed, checks his swing, and the count is 2-1 to Waz. Mark batting .273 in the World Series, .312 overall, 4 home runs, 30 runs batted in. Setting is Nolte. Checks Main and delivers. Off speed again, strike. The count 2-2. Main with a big lead at second, which benefits him. David not great speed to say the least. 2-2 pitch swung on and fouled back to the right side off the facing of the restaurant. The nice new addition that they built above the right side grandstand area. It's a 3-tiered VIP restaurant area behind about 25 feet of glass facing, or you can sit in there. You're a little insulated in there, though. You kind of miss the flavor of this place. And I tell you, one thing you do feel when you walk into this ballpark is the vibrance, the enthusiasm. You have the aromas of the ballpark, the hot dogs, the popcorn. They've got sauerkraut brewing and sausage and pizza and the smells of the yard. Great environment. Next pitch is swung on and hit into right center field. Sinking for a base hit. Rounding third and coming to the plate is Main. He's going to score. Going to second base on the play is Mark Wasikowski, and it's 2-0 Pepperdine. We told you David Main had a big lead at second. Wasikowski hit it into right center field. Chris Powell, the center fielder, came up and retrieved the ball and threw a sailor to the plate. Wasikowski never stopped. Main scored standing up. The ball wasn't close, and Waz goes all the way to second. So an RBI single, second on the throw. And still in the bullpen, Chavez is just standing. He's not really even throwing at this point. Now maybe he's warm already. Don't know. Nolte now will go to work on Scotty Vollmer. He will try to pick up Wasikowski. Wasikowski with a huge lead in the first pitch. Misses, ball one, 1-0. Vollmer batting .309, 7 home runs, 53 runs batted in. That wind again gusting toward the right field corner. Vollmer takes off speed inside, ball two, 2-0. With Cisco, the second baseman, playing back on the edge of the grass, and Nate Rodriguez back on the grass at shortstop for the right-handed hitting Vollmer. Wasikowski is getting a huge lead at second. Dancing, here's the pitch, swung on and grounded to the hole, fielding the ball off the glove of Rodriguez. Going to the plate is Wasikowski. The throw, he scores! No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He touched the plate his first time. Pepperdine cannot believe it. Wasikowski says he clearly scored. Mark drops his helmet at home plate in disgust. He clearly had a major collision. There's no doubt about that. The umpires are going to talk about it, but the play has been called. Field and the Pepperdine players are on the field. Bill Springman, the third base coach, very upset. Andy Lopez is on the field. There was a collision at the plate. Wasikowski went crashing over the top of the catcher and he landed right on top of home plate. Wasikowski landed on home plate, but the home plate umpire, Dale Williams, waited and waited as if to say Wasikowski had not touched the plate. Mark scrambled back and touched the plate again, and the question was whether or not the catcher had possession of the ball. On a play like that, the catcher must make a tag, or any field player must make a tag with the ball in their glove or in their hand. They cannot have a batter tagged out with the block, with a shoulder. In other words, if the catcher has the ball, that's one thing, but he must apply a tag and cannot make the play just by having a base runner run into him and hold on to the ball. It was very clear, at least to us, that the play or a tag was not applied. Andy Lopez still talking to home plate umpire Dale Williams. The Waves in obvious disagreement. Wasikowski thought he had scored clearly, but in any event, no run, and we're just going to keep it right here. So Pepperdine comes up with 2 runs in the top of the first inning and misses out on an opportunity for a third. The pitch by Nolte to Vollmer was grounded into the hole between third and short. Rodriguez dove at the ball and knocked it down. It rolled away from him into left field. Rodriguez got up and made the throw to the plate. Wasikowski had almost stopped coming around third, and then Springman gave him the go, 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 keep going sign. So Mark had to get it going again. Had he been running hard all the way, it wouldn't have even been close. But Wasikowski, thinking that Rodriguez had come up with the ball behind him and smothered it to keep it in the infield, running cautiously, turned it on again, but not in time. Well, controversy here in the top of the first inning. Looking at the monitor up here, and we can't see one, but we hear those behind us talking about it. It appeared very clearly that Wasikowski landed on home plate when he vaulted over the catcher, Jason Moeller, but it's not important anymore. We'll see if it is at the end of the game, but for the next couple hours, it doesn't mean anything. It's a done deal. The inning's over. Pepperdine comes up with 2, and we're now going to get ready to go to work here in the bottom of the first inning. Patrick Ahearne on the mound, and what a story he was a week ago today against Wichita State right here. Ahearne, rangy right-hander, deals the first pitch to Jeremy Carr. Strike called right down the pipe. And the count 0-1. Carr batting .250 in the World Series, 5 for 20. .350 overall. He's due. 1 home run, 18 runs batted in. Ahearne delivers, swing and fouled back behind the plate. The count 0-2 to Carr. Ahearne combining with Steve Montgomery to shut out Wichita State here 6-0 last Saturday. Patrick, the man of the hour, All-American in a couple of different publications. Deals the 0-2 outside the dirt, 1-2. An earned run average of 2.51 for the staff ace. 136 innings pitched, 124 strikeouts. He's walked only 29 in 136 innings. Excellent ratio. Allowed only 100 hits. Again, good numbers. Next pitch misses low and inside, ball 2, 2-2. Ahearne, a 7th round draft pick. Winds and delivers. Swung on and grounded towards short. Eric Ekdahl to Dan Melendez. And Carr is out. Carr attempts that belly slide into first base. You know, we've seen a lot of that here, and it is proven to be slower. It might look good, might look like hustle, but if you time a person, it takes longer to go into a slide because you have to slow down and arrange your stepping to go into a slide. You get there faster if you run through the bag. Carr was out easily anyway, so it didn't really matter. And with 1 down, here's Chris Powell, the center fielder. Powell, one of 2 players in this Fullerton lineup batting over 400 for the season. He's batting .500 in the World Series, 8 for 16. First pitch is strike called, the count 0-1. Powell does not have a run batted in the series, but he has scored 10 times in 5 games. He's been on the bases a lot, obviously. He takes away in the count 1-1. Ahearne with Vollmer behind the plate, Dan Melendez at first, Steve Rodriguez at second, Eric Ekdahl at short. The third baseman is Mark Wasikowski. Here's the pitch, outside, 2-1, fastball. In left field, Kevin Delamico playing slightly toward the line. In center field, Chris Sheff straight away. And in straightaway right field, it's Matt McElreath. The Waves defensively behind right-hander Patrick Ahearne. 2-1 pitch on the way. Just missed, and the count goes to 3-1 to Chris Powell. Powell, the left-hander. Phil Nevin on deck. And if you had a goal, if you were in a Pepperdine pitcher's uniform today, it would be to keep all runners off base before Phil Nevin comes to the plate. 3-1 pitch swung on and grounded to first. Danny Melendez with a skidding stop and gets up and goes to the bag. Very nice play by Melendez. The ball hit that soft spot area that we talked about before the broadcast began. Right at the start of the game, we said there's a couple of soft spots on the infield, one near third and one near first where the cut is on the grass. The ball hit in that area and skidded. Melendez went down into kind of a half sliding position and blocked it like a hockey goaltender, got up and went to the bag for the second out. Now here's Nevin. This guy's something, isn't he? He's batting .403, 22 home runs, 84 runs batted in, and he takes low ball 1-1-0. He's hitting .563 in the World Series. 9 for 16 with 11 runs batted in 5 games, including a couple of home runs. The #1 player chosen in the amateur draft last week. Terrific prospect. Hits it high in the air to center field. Chris Sheff fading on the ball. Sheff with a very good jump, and he's there to make the catch. So Nevin hits it to a part of the yard where it's going to die today, or at least right now in the early going. That wind cuts it in half, and it's a lazy fly ball out. 3 up and down for Fullerton, nothing across. We played 1 complete. It's Pepperdine 2, Cal State Fullerton nothing. Stay with us. This is Waves Baseball on K-Wing. We're getting ready to play in the top of the second inning. Pepperdine with 2 in the first, and might have had third. Might have had a third run. The replay, again, we were talking about it between innings. The television replay showed Mark Wazakowski on that play at the plate that ended things in the top of the first, vaulting over the catcher who had dropped the ball. Wazakowski came down and landed on the plate with his palm. And then thinking he had to come back and touch the plate a second time, Wazakowski tried to get back to the plate a second time. And the pitcher, Nolte, picked the ball up and tagged him out. Waz was rung up. And so the Waves end up with just 2 runs in the top of the first inning instead of 3. Now we go to play here in the top of the second inning, and Nolte is gone. The new pitcher for Cal State Fullerton is Paco Chavez. 3 wins and 3 losses for Chavez on the season. He falls behind quickly on the count to Chris Sheff, 2-0. Chavez with an earned run average of 2.35 in 57 innings. He's given up 42 hits and walked 7, so he's usually right around the plate. 2-0 pitch is a strike call, fastball on the count, 2-1. So Nolte, didn't take him long. He's gone, and the new hurler is Paco Chavez. Chavez deals, and this one fouled back on the screen, and the count now 2-2 to Chris Sheff. Sheff batting .343, 10 home runs, 44 runs batted in. Not particularly having a great series. 2-2 pitch swung on and fouled back again into the crowd. The count remains 2-2. Chris batting .200 here in Omaha, 2 for 10. He has a couple of RBIs. He has not scored a run here in the 3 games that Pepperdine has played, which is unusual. Chris usually on base a lot. Next pitch grounded to short, fielded by Rodriguez over to first, and Sheff is retired. So 1 down, and that'll bring up left fielder Kevin Delamico. Delamico's another guy who really hasn't achieved much offensively. In fact, he's achieved nothing. He's 0 for 8 in the World Series. Kevin replaced yesterday. Takes the first pitch, strike call on the inside part of the plate, the count 0-1. I should say it was Thursday when Pepperdine played Texas. Delamico started the game, went 0 for 2 and was replaced. Next pitch swung on and fouled back to the plate. Quickly he's behind 0-2. Kevin, who had come in to the series leading the club in hitting at 370 something, is now down to 346 overall. He was the club's top average hitter all season long, but not anymore. Struggling a little bit, trying to get it untracked. This would be a good time for that, wouldn't it? The count 0-2, now 1-2 as the pitch sails outside to Kevin Delamico. 1-2 pitch on the way to Del. Swung on and missed, strike 3. So Kevin continues to struggle at the plate. Goes down swinging. And with 2 down, that'll bring up shortstop Eric Ekdahl. Ekdahl, too, has had his troubles during the series. 1 for 11. Takes high and inside with the first pitch, a fastball, and the count 0-1. Ekdahl at 0.91 for the tournament. Scored a couple of runs, but has just the one base hit. Eric had a big tournament in Tucson, was the all-regional shortstop. Takes high ball 2-0. Batting .229 overall. So the Waves, an opportunistic team throughout the season and during regional play in Tucson and so far here in Omaha, in part because the bottom of the order was delivering. Next pitch to Ekdahl is taken for a strike, 2-1. Here in Omaha, the bottom of the order has not been delivering. But guys like Danny Melendez, who were cool in Tucson, have been hot in Omaha. So it's a team game, isn't it? The guys picking each other up. 2-1 pitch, strike 2 called, and the count 2-2 to Ekdahl. Next pitch is swung on and hit high in the air in foul territory toward the Pepperdine dugout, and it will land in about row 4 over there, right near the Pepperdine section. 160 some strong today. We've had some fans get so excited with the team's progress throughout that they called the hotel last night and said, "I'm coming," and here they are. Next pitch fouled back to the right side again, almost in the same spot, a little further back into the aisle. Former baseball coach Dave Gorey, who is the predecessor here prior to the Andy Lopez regime that began 4 years ago. Gorey called up yesterday and said, "Save me a ticket, I'll be there," and he's here. Next pitch swung on and grounded to the right side. A little grass cutter skidding across the infield. And over to first base goes Cisco to Olsen, and quickly the side is retired on the putout. 4-3. 3 up and 3 down. We go to the bottom of the second. Pepperdine 2, Fullerton nothing. Stay with us. This is Waves Baseball on K-Wave. Bottom of the second inning coming up. I'm Tim Wilhelm with Mike Sapolsky. Happy to have you with us. We're in Omaha, Nebraska. The end of an 11-day stay at the lovely Radisson Reddick Tower. And boy, the hotel's been great for us. They've been super all the way around. But you know, there's no place like home. And I think everybody here, those that have enjoyed this experience to absolutely the fullest extent, are looking forward to coming home. And the only thing left is to fight over who carries the trophy back to Southern California. The first time ever 2 teams from the same state have ever played in the championship game of the College World Series. Never mind from the same region. Arguably LA area teams, both Fullerton and Pepperdine. First pitch by Patrick Ahearne. Dribbled foul to the right side. Jason Moeller, the catcher at the plate, batting .364, 8 home runs and 60 runs batted in. Moeller, right-hander against the right-hander Ahearne. Patrick has not allowed a runner or a run yet in this World Series. Next pitch grounded foul outside of third and down the line. Pepperdine pitchers have been incredible in the last 54 innings postseason play. They have only been scored on in 3 of those 54 innings. Next pitch outside in the dirt, 1-2. Yeah, only 3 innings out of 54. That dates back to the Hawaii game, and even before that when the Waves were playing Washington back in Tucson a couple weeks ago. Next pitch swung on a dribbled foul at the plate. Moeller stays alive on the off-speed pitch, 1-2. Pepperdine pitchers with shutout victories over Washington, Hawaii sandwiched around a loss to Hawaii, but the Rainbows only scored in 2 innings in that one, and then came here to Omaha, shut out Wichita State, shut out Texas. Next pitch just misses, and the count 2-2. And in the rematch with Texas the other night, Thursday, Steve Duda had the Waves leading 1-0 in the 7th. Stretch of 35 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings. Next pitch in the dirt, and the count 3-2. Ahearne, unhappy with himself, walks off the top of the mound for the return throw, and now circles around the grass behind the hill to think about it and rub up the baseball. Team earned run average during that stretch of games, 1.36, which is remarkable considering that these are the best teams in the country that you're facing at this point in the year. Next pitch off speed, strike 3 called. So Moeller goes down looking at the 3-2 off speed pitch. The first strikeout of the game for Ahearne. And with 1 out, here's Tony Banks, the left fielder. Banks batting .303 overall, the left-hander hitting .273 in the series. Digging in, ready to go against Ahearne. Patrick winds and delivers. Swung on and hit in the air to center field. Chris Sheff is going to have to charge hard. Steve Rodriguez is out. The second baseman makes the catch in shallow center field. And again, that wind cut that thing in half. You know, that's like having 100 yards to the green and you end up clubbing down about 2 clubs to get it there. You get the ball up in the air and it just comes straight down. So Banks, first ball hitting, pops the ball, and it ends up in the glove of Rodriguez in shallow center. And with 2 down, here's second baseman Steve Cisco. .331 batting average. Pitch outside with a fastball, 1-0. Fullerton State with the first 6 batters in the lineup batting over 300, 2 of them over 400. Next pitch misses inside, a little bit low, and a count 2-0. The 7, 8, 9 batters, Fairbrother at .299, the DH, Olson at .264, and Rodriguez .292. So not much of a drop off, a little bit. Next pitch in the dirt outside, the count 3-0 now to Cisco. Bottom of the second inning, 2-0 Pepperdine. Ahearne winds and delivers. Strike called with a fastball right down the middle, and the count 3-1. Both of these teams with rosters loaded with Southern California guys, as you might expect. Many of these players know each other. They've grown up together, played all-stars and summer leagues and what have you. Next pitch is grounded toward third, cut off by Wazakowski in front of Ekdahl. Throw to first in time to get Cisco by a step, and the side is retired. So it's 6 up and 6 down for Ahearne so far through 2. And the Waves hold on to lead it 2-0 at the end of 2 complete. Stay with us. This is Pepperdine Baseball on K-Wing. Cal State Fullerton in the field. Pepperdine in the dugout waiting to come up and hit here in the top of the 3rd inning. The Waves and Titans have met before many, many times. And the Titans have broke the Waves' hearts in postseason several times. In 1975, winning the West Regional, defeating the Waves in the championship game 6-4. At Pullman, Washington in '76, eliminating Pepperdine from the West Regional.
Basically, the players showed up for practice Tuesday after we lost the conference
in 1979, right here on this field.
I showed up in street clothes and said Cal
State, Fullerton, and Pepperdine met in the elimination game in the championship round of 3.
Established the fact that we were a bad team.
3 teams remained at that point. Arkansas went to the championship round. Fullerton and Pepperdine played to see who would play Arkansas for the national championship, and Fullerton beat the Waves 8-5.
To make some adjustments in attitude. We had 25 players making out the
Titans
lineup.
have been kind of a nemesis for Pepperdine. First pitch to Steve Rodriguez, misses ball one, and the count 1-0.
Problems that you have in athletics when you have talented players.
1-0 pitch to Rodriguez, strike on the inside corner with a fastball, and the count 1-1. In fact, we talked the other night about how Pepperdine had been kind of a nemesis for Texas, having eliminated the Longhorns from postseason play 3 different times. Fullerton's done the same thing to Pepperdine. Ball bounced over the middle, over the mound, behind second. Fielding the ball at shortstop is Rodriguez. Quick throw to first in time. Nice play by Nate. And Rodriguez is retired. 6-3 on the putout. And here's Matt McElreath. Not what you would classify a fast field, fast track by any stretch. You really have to hit one pretty good to get it through if you have if it's a roller. First pitch to McElreath, misses, ball 1-0. The infield, as you would expect, in the outfield too, with there being such a sandy base underneath this surface for drainage purposes, the ball does not skid through as it would on a Bermuda surface that you would find in Southern California. 1-0 pitch, strike called, fastball, and a count 1-1. McElreath lined to third baseman Phil Nevin in the first inning. He's around a bunt and pushes it up along the third base line, fielded by the pitcher Chavez. Throw to first just in time. McElreath with a pretty good bunt. But Chavez got off the mound in a big hurry, whirled and made the throw in time to get Matt. And with 2 down, we'll see Melendez for the second time. Dan popped to short in the first inning. 2 very big hits for sure here in the World Series. A 3-run home run against Wichita State that really got the Waves rolling last Saturday in their opening game. Strike 1 called with a fastball. And a 2-run home run against Texas the other night. So with 2 swings of the bat, 5 runs batted in. This one's lined down the right field line into the corner. It's going to be at least 2. Melendez rounds first. He's going to second. The throw, he will be in there with a slide. So Melendez with his 3rd double in the College World Series. Danny batting .444 in the series coming in. 1 for 2 now today at second base with 2 outs. So Melendez, one of a number of players drafted the other day, in fact, one of several drafted very high, 2nd rounder by the Dodgers, may be playing his last collegiate ball game. He's on second. Here's David Main, the other left-handed big power threat. It's hitting the air high to left center field. Center fielder Powell and left fielder Banks calling is Banks, and he makes the catch. So Main goes to the wrong part of the park in windy conditions and flies to left. The side is retired. The Waves leave Melendez at second. And at the end of 2.5, Pepperdine 2, Cal State Fullerton nothing. Stay with us. This is Waves Baseball on K-Wing. Pat Ahearne spinning them down to Scott Fulmer. Pepperdine and Fullerton playing for the national championship today. It's winner take all. Pepperdine 3-0, advancing through bracket 2. Cal State Fullerton having to go the long route, winning 4 to get through bracket 1. The Titans also with a loss. So Pepperdine has played 3 games here in Omaha. Cal State Fullerton has played 5.
One of the great traditions here at the College World Series. And
so maybe the Titans pitching staff a little more on the thin side. Pepperdine with the full complement.
Hot fudge shake to strawberry.
They could go to Derek Wallace. They could go to Steve Montgomery. But right now it's all Patrick Ahearne. 6 up and 6 down for Fullerton so far. You know, Ahearne has been compared endlessly with that Horrell Hershiser business. Gosh, he just looks like him. So far, the results have been pretty favorable. The fans getting into it here with the wave. Here it goes again, starting in the left field corner. Ahearne will get ready to deal, and here he comes to Craig Fairbrother, the designated hitter. The left-hander swings and misses in the count 0-1. Check swing by Fairbrother, batting .299, 7 home runs, 23 runs batted in. Oh, 0-1 pitch, outside, 1-1. 1-1 the count to Fairbrother, trying to get on. Fullerton State has not yet had a base runner. We're in the third. The breeze continues to blow toward right in the corner. Next pitch swung on and missed, strike 2, big cut. Into the last out of the inning when David Main for the Waves drove that ball toward left center. The crack of the bat, center fielder for Fullerton, Chris Powell, turned his back and was heading for the track. The left fielder, Banks, ended up coming in to make the catch in left field. Now that tells you what that wind is doing. 1-1 pitch. A little bit outside, or rather the 1-2 pitch, and now it's 2-2. The count to Fairbrother. On deck, the number 8 man in the order, D.C. Olson, first baseman. He'll be followed by shortstop Nate Rodriguez. Bottom of the third. Here comes Ahearne. Swung on and grounded to short, and Byer. No, Ecto with a diving stab. A throw to first. In time. Oh my goodness, what a play. Eric Ecto with the ball looking to be by him. Came up with it in the webbing of the glove. Scrambled to his feet, threw to Dan Melendez, the big stretch at first base, and again a Fullerton base runner electing to dive head first into the bag is nipped. So an excellent play all the way around, started by Eric Ekdahl. One down, and here's Olson, the first baseman, batting .264 overall, but having a brutal time of it here in Omaha. He's 0 for 16 in the World Series. First pitch, a strike. The second pitch, check swing, strike 2, and the count 0-2 to Olson. DC takes inside corner, strike 3 call. So boy, when it goes bad, I suppose. You know, the second time now that Ahearne has gone outside, and then come back inside corner. So location right now excellent for Patrick Ahearne. And with 2 outs, we'll see Nate Rodriguez, the shortstop. Strikeout number 2 for Ahearne. And the first pitch to Rodriguez misses, ball 1, 1-0. Nate batting .292, does not have a home run this season. 20 runs batted in. The Waves straight away in the outfield. Pitch off speed, strike. Ahearne has been earning raves here throughout this World Series as a classic pitcher, not a thrower. He's a pitcher. 1-1 pitch. Misses, 2-1. Patrick with a number of his family members who have flown in to see this game. You mentioned a large group of Pepperdine fans, parents. Rodriguez backs out for a moment. Well, if you can't come here to watch your son play, when would you go watch him? 2-1 pitch, swung on and grounded foul down the left field line off the facing of the grandstand, rolling toward the Fullerton State bullpen, and the count is 2-2. Some of these folks, I'll tell you, they've dropped a lot of cash. Spent a lot of money. Been here for a long, long time, but it is the chance of a lifetime. You talk about it and talk about it and talk about it, You start every season talking about going to Omaha. And so when the time finally comes, you have to go too, don't you? Next pitch, swung on and grounded toward third. Wasikowski on 2 convenient hops over to Melendez, and the side is retired. So Patrick Ahearne keeps mowing them down. 9 in a row have gone down for the Titans. We go to the top of the 4th. Pepperdine leads at 2-0. Stay with us. This is Waves Baseball on K-Wing. We are at Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, Nebraska. This, the championship game of the 1992 World Series. Happy that you've joined us. Cal State Fullerton and Pepperdine have traveled nearly 2,000 miles to mix it up to see who's going to be the king of LA. The top 2 teams in the country are from Southern California. You don't think Southern California baseball is pretty good, huh? The 43rd consecutive year that the World Series has been here in this ballpark, and for very good reason. Quite a spectacle. Series moved here in 1950, just 3 years after its inception. The first series was played in 1947 in Kalamazoo, Michigan. The winner, Cal, the Golden Bears. Who will it be this year? In 6 more innings, perhaps we'll know. The first pitch to Mark Wasikowski, taken inside for ball 1, the count 1-0. Wasikowski singled, drove in a run, takes strike, and the count 1-1. He plated David Main, who had doubled in the first inning. The second Pepperdine run. Wasikowski, kind of an unsung guy now in the series. Some of his other teammates getting more publicity, but he's had some big hits. Dribbles this one back to the mound, fielded by Chavez, and he goes to first. So Wasikowski retired 1-3, and with 1 out, that'll bring up Scotty Vollmer. Chavez has really shut the Pepperdine offense down. The Waves, who had 2 runs early in the first inning and may have in fact had a third when this man Vollmer singled off the glove of the shortstop, only to have Wasikowski ruled out on a controversial play at the plate. Since that time, the Waves have been very quiet. Vollmer hits a grounder to short, and Rodriguez throws Scotty out. So Vollmer, first ball hitting, grounds out to shortstop, and with 2 down, here's Chris Sheff, the center fielder.
35,
Sheff 0 for 1. He grounded to short in his first at bat, leading off the second inning. Pepperdine with just 1 base runner since the first, but the lead is held up so far, and it's 2-0 Waves. First pitch, a strike to Sheff, 0-1. Oh, 1 pitch coming up to Sheff. Low and outside, 1-1. Chris, we told you, one of 7 Waves to be drafted. A 10th round pick of the expansion Miami Marlins. Next pitch is swung on and grounded outside first and down the line. Just foul, the count 1-2. And if I didn't know better, I'd say that Sheff was trying to go that way. Any ball hit in the air to left is an out because of that wind gusting in. And it looked like Sheff tried to push that ball to the right side. Next pitch swung on and fouled back to the right side, and the count remains 1-2. Chris, the big right-hander, has a large hole in right center field to shoot at. Jeremy Carr playing toward the line, and Powell on the left field side of the marker in center field. 1-2 pitch just misses, and the count 2-2. 408 to dead center, and it's like might as well be 600 with the wind. You'll never get there. 2-2 pitch, swung on and fouled back again. One and two, now 2-2. 2-2 the count to Chris Sheff. On deck, Delamico. Top of the fourth, 2-0 Pepperdine. This is it. This is the last game of the year. Here comes Chavez, fouled back again to the right side. So Sheff delivering some souvenirs to the Capacity House. They had over 19,000, just short of 20,000 here the other night when Texas and Oklahoma played, establishing an all-time World Series record. Might be close today. There's a good 18 plus, maybe 19 in the house. Next pitch, strike three, called at the knees, off-speed pitch. And Sheff goes down looking. So the side is retired, 3 up and 3 down for the Waves. We're going to the bottom of the fourth. Stay with us. This is Pepperdine Baseball on K-Wing. Patrick Ahearne on the mound for Pepperdine. He's been perfect so far. 9 up and 9 down. He will go to work on the Fullerton lineup for the second time now as we go back to the top of the order to start things here in the bottom of the fourth inning. These two schools have produced a number of Major League ball players. Pretty good traditions from both. You know, you hear about Texas and those guys that, well, what was it? Texas had something like 71 former players in the major leagues at one point. Not in the major leagues all at one time, of course, but since the early 1900s, 71. Well, these two cannot touch that, of course, but they've done their fair share. Tim Wallach is one who comes to mind from Cal State Fullerton, has had a pretty fair career.
Pretty graceful athletes here. Those are some baby gibbons, and
Pepperdine with
the beautiful scarlet ibis. I don't see
a number of players. Mike Scott won a Cy Young Award. Rob Piccolo played in the World Series. Milwaukee Brewers in the big leagues for 10 years. Mark Lee, Mike Gates, Mike Fetters pitching now for the Milwaukee Brewers. Andy Stankiewicz playing shortstop and second base for the Yankees and doing a fine job right now. Good baseball tradition for Pepperdine. Here's the first pitch, and it's lined into center field by Jeremy Carr. So the first hit of the ball game for Cal State Fullerton is a single to center by Carr here to start things in the bottom of the fourth inning. So Ahearne will work from the stretch position for the first time now. And Chris Powell, the center fielder, will be the batter. Powell grounded to first. Hit one hard down the line that Melendez made a nice play on. Fullerton, a very sound fundamental team. Ahearne on the mound and now steps off the rubber. So Carr on first, has his lead, not a big one at the moment. Ahearne sets and delivers to the plate. A bunt is up along first base. It's fair ball. Now it's foul ball. Well, home plate umpire Dale Williams didn't say anything. Vollmer stopped, Ahearne stopped, and the base runner just kind of jogged out of the box. The fans giving it to Williams a little bit. He didn't make the call. Finally, Vollmer said, well, hey, I better go get it. As soon as he went out to get the ball, then Williams said, no, foul ball. So we'll come back and try it again. Chris Powell behind on the count, 0-1. Throw to first, and back is Carr. Carr with his lead. Powell, the left-hander. Ahearne sets, delivers. Bunt attempt again and missed this time. And the count now 0-2 to Chris Powell. Powell tried to jerk the bat back, but couldn't do it.
Get it off your mind, Chris.
And with the count 0-2, that would seem to take the bunt off, but we'll see. It looked as if Powell was bunting for a base hit both times. He certainly wasn't just squaring around to sacrifice. Oh, 0-2 the count. Carr with his lead. Ahearne sets and steps off the rubber again. Pat walking around off the back of the mound. Now walking back up on top. Plants his feet, has his sign, and sets. Here's the pitch outside. Trying to nibble and get Powell to go for something away, and the count 1-2. On deck is Phil Nevin. Fullerton with their first base runner in the ballgame, trying to get things going here a little bit. They trail 2-0 in the bottom of the 4th inning. 2 runs on 4 hits for Pepperdine. No runs, 1 hit for Fullerton. Pat Ahearne sets and delivers. Pitch out. No action on the bases. Carr bluffing towards second. And that evens the count at 2-2. So Volmer thinking something might have been cooking. Called for the pitch out. Beach ball floating around in the left field bleachers. Distracting things just a little bit. Ahearne sets now. Throw to first again. And Carr is back. The ball ends up on the field. Now time has to be called. Stadium attendant will run out there to take care of that. Okay, that distraction has been removed. Let's go back to baseball. 2-2 is the count to Chris Powell. Nobody out. Carr at first base with a base hit. Throw to first, closer this time, and back with a dive is Carr. So Ahearne working a little bit more deliberately here with his first base runner on out there. Has his sign, sets and delivers just inside. Misses, ball 3. I think Powell tried to get a call. He said, "Oh, it hit me," but Dale Williams said no. And the count now full 3-2. So Ahearne's got to be careful. You got Powell batting .402 at the plate. And you have Nevin batting .403 on deck. Melendez holding the base runner, a hole on the right side for the left-handed hitting Powell. Ahearne throws to first again. So a little cat and mouse going here in this at-bat. Now Powell out of the box, now back in. Carr with his lead. Set is Ahearne. The runner goes, the pitch just outside, ball 4. Volmer came up ready to throw in case he got the strike 3 call. But he didn't, and that puts runners now on first and second for the player of the year.
He's probably performed.
Here's Phil Nevin.
I've ever seen on any team.
Well, here's a confrontation, huh? You got a first-team All-American on the mound.
Most of the number 1 draft choices that have come in here have had problems staying focused.
And you have the number 1 pick in the Major League draft at the plate.
In the Major League.
Nevin looking toward the dugout for some sign. Steps in there, and Ahearne ready to go to work. Patrick with his sign, sets, delivers, strike called, fastball, 0-1 to Nevin. This guy is so dangerous. Oh for 1 today. He has done everything. And talk about responding under pressure here in Omaha. He came in with all these expectations, and he has delivered. 0-1 pitch. Bluffs a bunt, pulls it back and takes. Ball one, 1-1. Nevin, we told you, was batting .563 coming in today. 9 for 16, scored 7 runs, drove in 11. All of this, mind you, in 5 games. 11 runs batted in 5 games. 2 doubles, 2 home runs. He's walked 7 times and stolen a couple of bases for good measure. Now time is called. Scotty Vollmer goes out to talk to his pitcher. Steve Rodriguez, the second baseman, will also come in to join the conversation. Make sure everybody has their signs straight. Told you, Nevin with 7 base on balls. Cal State Fullerton batters have walked 39 times in 5 games. They're at an average of 8 walks per ball game. So Titan batters working the pitchers pretty well as the meeting breaks up. Rodriguez jogs to shortstop, and he'll have something to share with Eric Ekdahl. Steve going back to his position at second. Vollmer back behind the plate, and we're about ready to go. Ahearne, and a bit of a jam. 1-1 is the count. Rodriguez to second, but no throw. First and second, nobody out. Batters number 3, 4, and 5 coming up for Cal State Fullerton here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Here's the pitch. He tries to bunt again. To throw the third is in time to get the base runner. Nevin tried to bunt. We didn't see if he went or not. They're checking it first, and no, says the first base umpire. Nevin appeared to try to push bunt. The ball went off the knee of Scotty Vollmer, off the shin guard, and bounced in front of home plate. The base runner Carr tried to move up to third, and Vollmer throws him out. So 2-5 on the putout, a big out. Now a runner on first and 1 down. 2-1 is the count to Nevin. Ahearne delivers. Inside and low, and the count is now 3-1. Big play with Nevin up there, and the count 1-1. The base runner Carr attempted to move up on a pitch that rolled right out in front of the plate. The play was right in front of Vollmer, and he threw to Wazakowski. Carr was out easily. Throw to first now. Powell diving back. Ahearne really slowing it down here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Has his sign and delivers. There goes the runner. The pitch is swung and grounded to short by Eric Ekdahl into shallow center field. Eric dove and knocked the ball down. It rolled behind him about 30 feet. Chris Sheff hustles in to retrieve it. Nevin will get credit for the base hit. So first and third now with 1 out. The second hit of the ball game for Cal State Fullerton. That play at third with Carr being erased on the steal attempt, now very big. And with 1 out, time is called. Andy Lopez is going to the mound to visit with his pitcher. What you have now is Jason Moeller, the catcher, coming up. Not great speed. Lopez probably going to have a few words of confidence for his staff. His staff of 1 at the moment is Ahearne. Most of the infielders on the hill. The Waves, of course, will be looking for a double play grounder with the catcher at the plate. In order to get out of the inning. Ahearne rolled along through the first 9 batters. Here in the 4th, he hasn't gotten anybody out yet. He has a walk, a base hit, Actually, base hit, walk base hit. But one runner out on the bases, so there's one out now. Runners at first and second. Pepperdine still leading 2-0. And Ahearne really working slowly at this point. Pat trying to gather himself, doesn't want to make a mistake. Moeller, the right-handed hitter. And the pitch goes to the backstop, right through Scotty Vollmer, and coming to the plate to score is Chris Powell. Well, I'm sure that that's not what Lopez wanted. After a mound conversation, the first pitch goes right through. It looked like it went right through the legs of Vollmer to the backstop. I would imagine that might be ruled a pass ball, and it is. So that one gets through Vollmer, and Fullerton is on the board. The Titans have a run. It's now 2-1, and Nevin, the tying run, is at second base. Ahearne checks the runner, sets, delivers. Inside, and the count 2-0. 2-0 is the count to Moeller. Ahearne, since he has slowed down his pace, struggling a little bit here in the fourth. Next pitch, strike call on the inside part of the plate, 2-1. Pat going to think about it a little bit, walks to the right side, on the grass, now back up on top. Moeller went down looking on strikes in the second inning. Ahearne has struck out 2, he's walked 1. The walk to Powell pays off, as Powell has scored the first run of the game for Fullerton here in the bottom of the fourth. And this inning is taking a very long time. Now we're ready to go back to work. Ahearne delivers in the dirt. Ball 3, 3-1. And Ahearne will take another walk. Moeller back in the box. He's ready to go. Ahearne now with a pitch. And it's inside and high, ball 4. Second run, the second walk of the inning off of Pat Ahearne. Runners at first and second now for Tony Banks, the left fielder. Banks popped up to second in the second inning. The number 5 batter in the lineup. Left-hander with pretty good speed. Time is called. Home plate umpire Dale Williams going to dust off home plate. And now we're getting ready. The runners away from second and first. Ahearne sets. And the pitch. Swung on and hit to second. Rodriguez to second for 1. Over to first. 6-3 on the putout after the assist by the number 4 man Rodriguez. And on the double play, the side is retired. The Titans come up with 1 run. The double play grounder gets Pat Ahearne out of it. He struggles, but he gets through the fourth. Still leading 2-1 is Pepperdine. We'll be back in a minute. Stay with us. This is Waves Baseball on K-Wayne. We go to the top of the 5th inning. 2 runs on 4 hits for Pepperdine, 1 run on 2 hits for Fullerton. This is the championship game of the 1992 Collegiate Series. The World Series from Omaha, Nebraska. Happy to have you with us. I'm Tim Wilhelm with Mike Sapolsky. Warming up for the Titans of Cal State Fullerton, Paco Chavez, who came on in the second inning after starter Dan Nolte had a rough first inning. Chavez has been pretty tough on the Waves. He's retired 9 of the 10 batters that he has faced. He only hit a double by Dan Melendez with 2 out in the 3rd inning. Again, we've talked about the bottom of the Pepperdine order having been quiet here in Omaha after being so loud, if you choose to use that description, in Tucson in the regional. The Waves have not gotten anything out of the 8 and 9 guys in the lineup. And here's number 8 now, Kevin Delamico taking strike 1. Del batting .346, but slumping. 0 for 9 in the World Series. Looking to get something started. Swing and a miss, strike 2. And Delamico right now looks like he's just guessing wrong. Kevin very quickly in a hole 0-2. Here's the pitch. Outside in the dirt, 1-2. Del, who was so effective all year long, batting .370, .380 all season. Next pitch fouled back on the screen. He stays alive. 1-2 is the count. Chavez working quickly. Here's the pitch. Off-speed pitch, just a little bit high to count 2-2. I think Paco thought he had him. Chavez, not terribly big guy. They list him at 5'10", 160. He's ready, and here he comes, 2-2. Check swing, grounded up along first base toward the line. Right on the bag is the first baseman, Olson, and he steps on the sack for the out. So Delamico with a check swing fooled again. And he goes down 3 unassisted. 1 out, and here's Eric Ekdahl, the shortstop. Ekdahl grounded out to second base in the second inning. Eric, the right-hander, swings and hits it high in the air to left field and fairly deep. Back on the track is Tony Banks. This ball is gone. It's gone into the wind. Wow. What a time for the first home run of the year for Eric Ekdahl. And that wind is blowing so hard, that ball was absolutely blasted, and it just did get out of here. Texas swings and grounds it to the hole, speared by Phil Nevin at third, smoothly over to first, and Rodriguez is retired. Nevin makes it look easy. So Rodriguez grounds the 3-1 pitch to third, and with 2 outs, here's Matt McElreath, the right fielder. Matt lined to third and grounded back to the mound. 0 for 2, left-hander. Takes outside 0-1. Oh, 1 pitch on the way. Swung on and lined at first base. Speared at the knees by D.C. Olson. And the side is retired. But Pepperdine gets a big hit from Eric Ekdahl. The home run to left. And at the end of 4.5, it's Pepperdine 3, Fullerton 1. We're at the halfway point of the World Series championship game. Stay with us. This is Waves Baseball on K-Wing. Bottom of the 5th inning. Pat Ahearne again staked to a 2-run lead. Ahearne with a difficult bottom of the 4th. Cal State Fullerton rallied for a run. Ahearne gave up 2 hits and 2 walks in the inning, but got out of it on a double play ball. And a bad base running choice. Jeremy Carr running into an out at third base when the Titans had first and second and nobody out. That helped. The run came across on a pass ball charge to the catcher, Vollmer. Ahearne squeezed through the inning with a 2-1 lead, and then got some help from shortstop Eric Ekdahl, who reached the left field stands with a blast to make the score 3-1 Pepperdine now, and we're ready to go in the bottom of the 5th inning. The first pitch to Steve Cisco is hit in the hole, backhanded by Ekdahl, over to first in time. So a nice play again by Ekdahl, his second excellent defensive effort. Maybe it's Eric's day, huh? Here's Craig Fairbrother, the designated hitter. Left-hander, grounded to short, his first time. Ahearne standing erect on the hill, hands at his sides, looking in for a sign, has it, winds and delivers. Outside corner with the fastball, strike one, 0-1. Again, as has been the case throughout the World Series, a contrast in dugout styles. The Fullerton team up on the top step, a la Texas and the other teams Pepperdine has faced, Wichita State. Next pitch misses in the count, 1-1. The Pepperdine team throughout the series seated all the way back. You can only see their legs sitting back, enjoying themselves, but you know, they're probably getting a little bit antsy. Next pitch swung on and fouled back right here below us on the net in the count, 1-2. Ball boy makes a play at the base of the screen. This Pepperdine team has appeared very calm and confident throughout the World Series, especially for a bunch that's never been here before. Next pitch, check swing, strike three called out in front of the plate. Vollmer recovers and throws to Melendez at first. And on the strikeout, two are gone. The third strikeout of the ball game for Pat Ahearne. We mentioned these players haven't been here before. Many of Fullerton's players haven't either, but certainly from a traditional point of view, Cal State Fullerton's players in the past, the recent past, have been here more recently than Pepperdine. The Waves making only their second ever series appearance. The other was back in 1979. First pitch to Olson, outside, ball one. You know, it doesn't sound too long ago for those of us that were here. Next pitch swung on and grounded over the mound into center field for a base hit. So Olson goes right back up the middle, ground single to center. And for DC Olson, that's news. 0 for 17 in the series. He's now 1 for 18. It's his first hit in the College World Series. So Olson is on with 2 outs for Nate Rodriguez, the shortstop. Rodriguez grounded to third to end the 3rd inning. Up for his second try against right-hander Patrick Ahearne. Vollmer sets up outside. The pitch is right there in the glove. Strike one called. And we talk about 1979 and say, oh yeah, I remember when we were here in 79. The guys in the Pepperdine dugout in 1979 were about 6 years old. They don't remember 79. Next pitch off speed is grounded foul outside of third and down the line. The count 0-2 to Rodriguez. To the count to the Fullerton shortstop. Olson with a short lead at first. Here's the pitch. Just misses 1-2. Fastball trying to nibble the corner was Ahearne. Fullerton State goes back to the top of the order after Rodriguez. 1, 2, and 3 coming up. That's where the trouble was in the 4th inning. Throw to first. Ahearne has his sign and delivers. Swung on and grounded to third. Wazakowski will go across the diamond to Melendez, bounces it, and Danny makes the catch. Well, that was an interesting play. It draws some oohs and ahs from the fans. Wazakowski kind of sidearm flipped one over there, but Melendez does the job, and the side is retired. Nothing across for Fullerton. We've played 5 complete in the championship game. Stay with us. It's 3-1 Pepperdine. This is Waves Baseball on K-Wing. Oh, man. That could have been disaster. Monty time. Right. Next inning, key. Get a run here. Right. Not good. Wow, a long, long road to hope yet. The Waves will try to get some more here in the top of the 6th. Build on that 2-run advantage. Dan Melendez will lead it off. Danny 1 for 2, and he takes a strike in the count 0-1. Popped to short in the first inning. Doubled to right in the third. Here comes Chavez, and the pitch outside with a fastball, the count 1-1. Paco's done an excellent job. Save the surprising home run from Eric Ekdahl. Chavez has been pretty tough on the Waves. Next pitch, strike call with a fastball in the outside corner, the count 1-2 to Melendez. Eric Ekdahl hitting his first home run of the year into a very strong wind in the last inning to give the Waves that 3-1 lead. Next pitch in the dirt. 2-2 to Melendez. Melendez slowing Chavez down a little bit, backs out for a moment. Paco working very quickly. Has his sign, and here he comes again, 2-2. Swing and a miss, and now foul tipped at the plate off the glove of the catcher, Jason Moeller. And Melendez stays alive by the tick of the bat. 2-2 the count to Melendez. On deck, David Main. A couple of left-handers here right away to face the right-hander Chavez. In the hole, Mark Wazakowski. So the 3-4-5 batters for the Waves here in the 6th. 2-2 pitch from Chavez. Swung on and grounded to second. Convenient hop for Cisco over to first to the pitcher covering in time, and Chavez just did get there. The first baseman, Olson, had broken into the hole to try to field that ball. Chavez got there late, but just did get there in time to retire Melendez. So 4-1 on the putout. And here's designated hitter Dave Main. David 1 for 2. A double and an RBI, and scored a run in the first inning. Takes the first pitch, ball 1. Flied to left in the third inning. Has made good contact twice. 1-0 pitch, swung on and hit in the air to center field. Now gliding over in left center field is the left-hander Tony Banks. They both call, but Powell, the center fielder, makes the catch. You know, with the wind conditions, you hit a ball out that way, it's going to cut it down a little bit, which would seem to give the advantage to the left fielder, Banks. But Powell was there in time and called him off. So very quickly, 2 down. And Wazakowski will be the batter. Waz with a single and a run batted in the first inning. Grounded back to the pitcher in the fourth inning. First pitch, misses, ball 1, 1-0. 1-0 on the way, a little bit off speed. Strike called, 1-1. One and one the pitch. Here it comes. Bluffs a bunt, pulls it back in time and takes ball 2, 2-1. Around to right is the right fielder Jeremy Carr. The gap would be in right center for the right-handed hitting Wazakowski. Next pitch is swung on and line to third, stabbed by Phil Nevin, and the side is retired. So Wazakowski hit it hard again. Nevin made the play up in the webbing. And the Waves are shut down here in the top of the 6th inning. Nothing across at the end of 5 1/2. It's Pepperdine 3, Cal State Fullerton 1. Stay with us. This is Waves Baseball on K-Wing. Bottom of the 6th inning coming up. The attendance today in excess of 17,000, just short of 18,000, 17,900 and change. Total tournament attendance, a record by a bunch, 154,216. So an all-time tournament record and a championship game record. This is the most they've ever had here for a title game. So Pepperdine, a part of attendance history. They would be even more excited if the history that is written on this one includes them as the national champions. They, being the Pepperdine pitchers and defense, must shut down Cal State Fullerton's offense 4 more times. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning now as Pat Ahearne gets set to work. To the top of the order, and Jeremy Carr will take his cuts. First pitch, inside corner with a fastball, strike 1. Wazakowski in on that soft part of the infield at third. Now he backs up to a more conventional position. 0-1 is the count to Carr. 1, 2, 3 are the batters here for Fullerton in the 6th. The next pitch in the dirt, 1-1. Wazakowski creeping in on every pitch. Maybe looking for the bunt. Carr, Powell, and Nevin, the guys that got it started for Fullerton in their run-scoring 4th. Next pitch inside and low, almost got him. 2-1 is the count. And another beach ball is loose in the left field bleachers. Two and 1 is the count, and now time is called. Jeremy Carr backs out. It's got to be distracting. It's distracting from a noise point of view. Now Carr's back in there, and the next pitch is taken outside, ball 3, 3-1. 3-1 is the count. Ahearne delivered the first pitch for a strike, but missed on the next 3, and Pat takes a long walk. He's halfway towards second. Turns around and meanders back toward the mound. Now reaches the dirt and climbs back up on top. 3-1 pitch. Strike called, and the count is full 3-2. Now, one thing you don't want to do is walk the leadoff man. Protecting a 2-run lead against a very good hitting ball club. 322 as a team is Cal State Fullerton. Ahearne full on the count to Carr. Here's the pitch. Swung on and grounded slowly to the left side. Wazakowski has it over to first in time. And Carr is retired on the ground ball to third. Ahearne is a ground ball pitcher. When a lot of outs are being made in the infield, you know that Patrick is on his game. And with the infield a little slow, being such a thick-grassed, sandy-surfaced construction here, it makes things a little bit easier for the infielders. A ground ball pitcher is going to be able to take advantage of that. Ahearne delivers the first pitch to Chris Powell a little bit outside with the off speed, and it's 1-0. Derek Wallace heads down to the Pepperdine bullpen, and he will begin to stretch it out a little bit. Just beginning to throw. Ahearne trying to do it himself, delivers strike called to Chris Powell, the count 1-1. On deck is Nevin. Yeah, already. Seems like he was just up there. This guy, Powell's no slouch at 4:02. Takes outside, ball 2, 2-1. So Ahearne dealing carefully with the top 3 batters in the Fullerton lineup, nibbling a little bit. Went full to Jeremy Carr and got him on the ground ball. Behind 2-1, here comes the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 2, 2-2 now to Powell. Two balls and 2 strikes to Chris Powell. Left-handed hitting center fielder against the right-hander Patrick Ahearne. Bottom of the 6th inning, 3-1 Pepperdine. Ahearne delivers way inside, and the count now goes full 3-2. So another full count pitch coming up. Ahearne had thrown 67 before this inning started. So Patrick getting close to the 80 pitch mark. 3-2, swung on and grounded to second. Steve Rodriguez gobbles it up and throws him out. So Ahearne goes 3-2 to Carr, and he grounds to third. Goes 3-2 to Powell, and he grounds to second. And Ahearne can work a little bit more freely to Nevin with nobody on and 2 out. Phil with a base hit off the glove of shortstop Eric Ekdahl, who made the diving attempt up the middle in the 4th inning. The first pitch is low, ball 1, 1-0. Nevin's hit sent Chris Powell to third, where he scored on a pass ball. One and 0 is the count. Here's the pitch. Low and inside, ball 2. So Ahearne working Nevin down and in at the knees. Pat's going to take another one of those long walks. Oh, he's out 30 feet towards second. Looks around, wanders back to the mound. Pat back up on top, looking for his sign. Has it, and here he comes. Swung on and bounced right back to Ahearne. Patrick throws him out, and the side is retired. So we've gone through 6. It's Pepperdine 3, Cal State Fullerton 1. Top of the 7th inning coming up. Stay with us. This is Waves Baseball on K-Wing. Pepperdine coming to bat here in the top of the 7th inning. This one moving right along. Started at 12:05. Our time here, we've not yet come up to the 2-hour mark, and we're in the 7th. The 4th inning, the bottom of the 4th inning alone took about a half hour. Other than that, it's been pretty much up and down as usual. Patrick Ahearne now in the dugout resting. He has worked through 6. He has held the opposition to 1. His guys, the Waves, have 3. Pepperdine up by 2 and looking to increase that. Tight ball game. Scott Fulmer will lead it off for the Waves here in the top of the 7th inning. Swings at the first pitch and lines it into left field. It's going to be a base hit. So Fulmer rounds first and holds with the line single. And that'll bring up Chris Sheff, the center fielder. Fulmer, first ball swinging, bangs it into left field. And Sheff, who's been a little bit quiet throughout the series, now up in a big spot. We'll see if he's up there to sacrifice. He's around the bunt and does up along third base. Nevin Fields looks at second, only has one play to first, and Sheff does his job, sacrificing 5-3 on the putout. So in 2 pitches, Vollmer singles to left, Sheff sacrifices him to second, and Vollmer now in scoring position. For Kevin Delamico. Time is called now. Horton going to the mound. First name George. He's the associate head coach at Cal State Fullerton. All of the Fullerton infielders will convene for the meeting. Delamico will be the batter, maybe. Kevin is standing off to the side of home plate, the third base side. He has had a conversation with Bill Springman, the third base coach. That breaks up, but with a pat on the back, go get him, Dell. Kevin 0 for 10 in the College World Series. Sees a runner on second base as the meeting breaks up, and everybody goes back to their respective corners. First base coach Steve Kling shouting instructions to Vollmer at second. Delamico looking for his first World Series hit, and this is a very big spot. A runner at second base, 1 out. Delamico receives the first pitch, and he takes low, ball 1. Well, Andy Lopez, Pepperdine coach, expressing confidence in the bottom of his order. He has his number 7 guy, Chris Sheff, who's batting .343, who was the tournament most valuable player in the West Regional, sacrifice in order to get to his 8 and 9 batters with a runner on second in scoring position. Next pitch outside and low, ball 2 to Delamico. 2-0 is the count to Kevin. Dell looking for a pitch he can drive, no doubt. 2-0 pitch, swung on and fouled back. He was late. Just got a piece of it up on the screen behind the plate. 2-1. Delamico this season with 26 runs batted in. Not a home run threat with 3. Then neither again was Eric Ekdahl, and he's on deck. Next pitch in the dirt, low for ball 3, 3-1. Three and 1 is the count to Delamico. Vollmer on second, 1 out in the 7th. 3-1, Pepperdine over Fullerton, the championship game of the World Series. Setting is Chavez, here he comes. Down the middle, strike 2, 3-2 to Delamico. Vollmer with pretty good speed for a catcher at second. Hanging close to the bag. Here's the pitch, fouled back on the netting, and the count remains full at 3-2. An important part of this ball game, wouldn't you say? Fullerton will send up 4, 5, and 6 in the bottom half of the inning. Another run might look very big for Patrick Ahearne. Here's the pitch to Delamico. Fouled back again to the right side. He was late again, but he's still alive. It's been souvenir time over there over the Pepperdine dugout on the first base side. Scattered cloudy day. Wind blowing again, as we have said, to the right field corner. 3-2 pitch coming up to Delamico. Swung on and fouled back again. Check swing off the end of the bat. The count remains full at 3-2. The season coming to an end. One of these two Southern California teams will no doubt have some fans waiting for them at the airport when they come home tomorrow. Both teams should. They've had great years. 3-2 pitch to Delamico. Swung on a hit high in the air to right field. Carr was very shallow. He's going back on the ball now to the track, and he gloves it. Vollmer tags and goes to third. The wind is blowing very hard that direction. Delamico hit would look to be a routine fly ball, but the farther that Carr went, the more the ball carried. Carr ended up gloving the ball on the warning track about 2 feet in front of the fence. Crashed into the wall on the play. Vollmer tagged and went to third base. So it goes into the books as a long fly ball out to right field. 2 down. Eric Ekdahl will be the batter, and we are going to have a pitching change. Chavez gets a handshake from assistant coach George Horton for a job well done. And Chavez leaves the mound. Nice round of applause for Paco. He was certainly effective. Eric Ekdahl is going to be the batter now with 2 out and a runner, Vollmer, on third. Or Jeremy Carr, the right fielder, almost played that one too casual. He just did get it in the webbing of his glove, but get it he did, and there's now 2 outs. The new pitcher for Cal State Fullerton is Chad Dembisky. He's a right-hander. He played previously at Loyola Marymount, so the Waves know all about Dembisky. They have seen him a number of times before he transferred to Fullerton. An earned run average of 2.34 in 34 innings, 36 strikeouts. So Chad, a hard thrower, big right-hander, 2 wins and 1 loss on the season. Those numbers not too terribly important at the moment, as Dembisky charged very simply with getting one batter, at least for right now, Eric Ekdahl, and stranding Scotty Vollmer at third. Pepperdine leading 3-1, top of the 7th inning. Cal State Fullerton, winners of bracket 1. The bracket started with Miami, California, Florida State, and Cal State Fullerton. Bracket 2 winner, Pepperdine, over Wichita State, Texas, and Oklahoma. Here they are in Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, playing for the national championship, and we're in the 7th inning, a big moment. Ekdahl homered to left his last time up. Up at third is Nevin, the third baseman. The first pitch to Ekdahl is swung on and hit in the air, shallow into right field. Out goes the second baseman, Cisco. In comes Carr, and Carr makes the catch. So Ekdahl pops to shallow right field. Dembisky gets out of it with 1 pitch. The side retired. We're at the stretch half of the 7th inning. Stay with us. This is Waves Baseball on K-Wave. Bottom of the 7th inning coming up. Cal State Fullerton down by 2 runs. Patrick Ahearne, one of 7 drafted Waves, on the mound. Derek Wallace, who was up earlier in the bullpen, now seated in the dugout. Wallace, a first-round pick of the Cubs. Dan Melendez, second round to the Dodgers. Steve Montgomery, third round to the Cardinals. We may see Montgomery yet. Steve Rodriguez, 5th round to Boston. Ahearne, 7th round to Detroit. Chris Sheff, 10th rounder to the Marlins of Miami. Jeff Myers, a 14th rounder with the San Francisco Giants. A club loaded with talent. Wallace jogging down to the right field corner again. Interesting decision for Coach Andy Lopez whether or not he would go with Steve Montgomery or Derek Wallace. The first pitch in the bottom of the 7th inning misses outside, ball 1 to Jason Moeller, the catcher. Ahearne would like to do it himself. The 1-0 pitch. Inside corner strike. Moeller didn't like that one. The count 1-1. Jason has struck out looking and walked in the 4th inning. Ahearne ready, and here he comes. Just misses a little low in the count 2-1. On deck, left fielder Tony Banks, followed by Steve Cisco, the second baseman. 2-1 pitch, off speed, strike 2. So mixing them up a little bit is Ahearne. 1 run on 3 hits for Fullerton through 6 innings. An unearned run in the 4th, scoring on a passed ball. 2-2 pitch, swung on and foul tipped at the plate. Vollmer couldn't hold on to it. Moeller was fooled, just did get a piece. 2-2 the count remains. Ahearne ready with the 2-2 pitch. Here it comes. Just outside, 3-2, and the count is full. Ahearne, without keeping exact track, I can tell you, has had a lot of 3-2 counts today. Full count pitch, here it comes. Swung on and grounded to third behind the bag. Wasikowski has it, the long throw in time to get Moeller. Not really a hard hit ball. Wasikowski had a long throw to make, about 10 feet behind third, but he gets it. Moeller, the catcher, running down the line. A big out, getting the leadoff man here in the bottom of the 7th. And here's Tony Banks, the left fielder. Banks with a lot of speed, but he grounded into a 4-6-3 inning-ending double play in the 4th that killed the only rally that Fullerton has had today. The Titans had cut the Pepperdine lead to 2-1 and had runners at first and second with 1 out when Banks hit one sharply to Steve Rodriguez. First pitch outside by Patrick Ahearne, the count 1-0. Banks takes ball 2, 2-0, outside, same spot. Wallace warming up in earnest in the Pepperdine bullpen. Assistant coach Steve Kling down there, standing on the backside of the bullpen mound. He will be the one to give the signal. Strike called on the fastball, 2-1. Two and 1 the count. The crowd kind of sitting here in anticipation. Backing out is Banks. Ahearne kicking at the mound in front of the rubber where his landing foot comes down. 2-1 pitch on the way. Off-speed pitch misses, 3-1. Another 3-ball count for Ahearne. Not particularly a warm day, so Ahearne probably not terribly affected by the heat. The next pitch high and outside, ball 4, and Banks is on with a base on balls. That is walk number 3 from Ahearne, and he's been behind on a lot of others, but he's still out there, leading 3-1. Ahearne checking with shortstop Eric Ekdahl for defensive signs in the infield, and here's Steve Sisko. Sisko now with Banks on first. Banks is not going. The first pitch, strike called inside corner. The count 0-1. The tying run is at the plate. The wind is blowing in from left. But I guess that doesn't mean it's impossible anymore when Eric Ekdahl could drive one out earlier in the ballgame. The Pepperdine shortstop with his first home run of the ballgame in the 5th inning. That put the Waves up 3-1, and that's where we stand now in the bottom of the 7th. Still, it takes a jolt to get out of here. The 0-1 pitch on the way. Bunted up along third, a good bunt. Ahearne fields, throw to first in time. Sisko with a pretty good bunt, bunting for a base hit. Ahearne got off the mound well and makes the play to retire the second baseman for Cal State Fullerton. 1-3 on the putout, and with 2 down, that will bring up designated hitter Craig Fairbrother. Left-hander now against right-hander. Fairbrother can get the Titans a little closer with a base hit. And now time is called, and Andy Lopez is going to the mound, and this may be it for Ahearne. Coach Kling in the bullpen has raised his cap, which means Derek Wallace is ready if needed, and we'll see. Lopez just now reaching the mound after having a couple of words with home plate umpire Dale Williams. Andy completing his 4th year. Conversation on the mound, everybody there except Melendez. Looking at Ahearne, talking to him. Patrick pawing at the dirt. Lopez talking. Wallace continues to throw hard in the bullpen, and he's coming in. So there will be a pitching change. Derek Wallace will be the new pitcher for Pepperdine, and Patrick Ahearne will leave after holding Cal State Fullerton to 1 unearned run in 6 2/3 innings. He should get an ovation as he goes off. Well, it's kind of hard to fault what Patrick Ahearne has done here in Omaha. He went 7+ against Wichita State, no runs. He went 6 2/3 here against Cal State Fullerton in the championship game and allowed 1 unearned run. So Ahearne can't do much better than he did. Now he turns it over to Derek Wallace. Wallace, a first-round draft choice of the Chicago Cubs last Monday. With deceiving statistics, he's had an interesting year. Has not really been in the closer role much because that job belongs to Steve Montgomery. Montgomery now will throw in the bullpen to back up Wallace. So Derek, the right-hander, the junior, undoubtedly on his way to signing a professional contract, making his final collegiate appearance, more than likely. Ahearne threw 96 pitches. Right about normal for Patrick. Wallace pitched here the other day against Texas, and he went 6+ scoreless innings against the Longhorns. So Derek, making his second appearance in the series, certainly is fresh. Lopez is back to the dugout. The Waves are back to their positions. The wind continues to blow out toward the right field corner. Right-hander Wallace dealing to the left-handed hitting Craig Fairbrother. Delivers. Fastball outside, ball 1, 1-0. Pepperdine baseball friends and fans for years have always said that the club just was always seemingly one pitcher short when they'd get to regionals. 1-0 pitch. Fastball high, ball 2, 2-0. That has not been the case this year, as this club has been trumpeted throughout this week as having the most in-depth pitching staff of anybody here, and certainly results would bear that to be true. Now here's Wallace in relief of Ahearne, delivering inside and low, ball 3, 3-0. You have a first-team All-American Ahearne relieved by a first-round draft choice Wallace, and another All-American in the bullpen warming up to back up Wallace if he has trouble. Two outs, a runner on second. 3-0 pitch, swung on and hit into right field for a base hit. Charging is McElreath, the throw to the plate, and the runner's not coming. So Wallace threw the 3-0 pitch right down the middle, and Fairbrother grounded it into right field for a base hit. Taking no chances, down 2 runs. Banks is held up at third. And so the first batter to face Derek Wallace gets a base hit. And that brings to the plate first baseman D.C. Olson. And now we're going to have a pinch hitter. Batting for Olson will be number 30, Brett Hemphill. Olson was 1 for 2. Hemphill is a left-hander. Fullerton coach Augie Garrido obviously hoping that the left-hander can get a hold of one. The wind blowing out to right toward the right field corner. Wallace ready, delivers, strike called with the fastball, 0-1. Hemphill batting .240. He has 6 home runs, 26 runs batted in. Hemphill is ready. Wallace sets and delivers. Swing and a miss, strike 2. A very tall order for Brett Hemphill to walk off the bench after sitting for about 2.5 hours and face the 92-mile-an-hour fastball of Derek Wallace. We'll see what he comes in with a count 0-2. First and third, 2 out, bottom of the 7th. Wallace sets, bluffs to third, looks at first. Hemphill, the pinch hitter, is ready. Wallace delivers. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Derek Wallace punches him out on 3 pitches, and the side is retired in the 7th inning. Nothing across for Fullerton. They leave 2 through 7 complete. It's 3-1 Pepperdine. Stay with us. This is Waves Baseball on K. Top of the 8th inning. Pepperdine holding on. They lead 3-1. We are down to the last 2 innings of the 1992 collegiate baseball season. Unless, of course, we play extra innings. The Waves on top by a pair. This capacity crowd seeing a nail biter. Pepperdine has never won a national championship in baseball. Cal State Fullerton has won 2. The new catcher for Fullerton is Hemphill. Jason Moeller, who was behind the plate, goes to first base. And Hemphill will receive the pitches from Chad Dembisky. Dembisky came in and made one pitch in the 7th and got Eric Ekdahl. Here's a bunt by Steve Rodriguez up along third, retrieved by the pitcher Dembisky, who throws to first, and Rodriguez is retired. So Steve, trying to catch the pitcher a little slow coming off the mound, is thrown out 1-3. And very quickly on the first pitch, one man gone. So Dembisky has made 2 pitches and has 2 outs. Here's Matt McElreath, the right fielder. He bluffs a bunt and takes strike 1 called. So the Waves looking to play a little bit of little ball, showing bunt here the last couple of innings. Winding and delivering is Dembisky. Swinging and fouling this one is McElreath, and the count is now 0-2. Matt, the first of 3 consecutive left-handers in the Pepperdine batting order. Ready 0-2, fouls another one back at the plate. And the count remains no balls and 2 strikes to Matt McElreath. He's 0 for 3. Line to third, grounded to first, and line to first. One out and nobody on. Here's the pitch outside, the count 1-2. On deck is Melendez. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2-2. I think the anticipation with the crowd after all of the buildup regarding Pepperdine pitching, the anticipation is to get the Waves out and see what they can do when they're in the field, see what the pitchers can do. This one to McElreath is popped up into shallow left field. Charging is the left fielder Banks, and it drops on the foul line. A bloop single for Matt McElreath. Rodriguez, the shortstop, went out like he had the ball all the way and then peeled off as if Tony Banks had called him off, but Banks wasn't even close to the ball. The ball came down about 20 feet out on the grass behind the dirt cut part of the infield, so it didn't go more than 150 feet. A break for the Waves now. McElreath on for Melendez. We'll see if the Waves can take advantage. McElreath with his lead. Throw to first and he's back. Well, we've been telling you all day about that wind. I mean, Banks was a long ways from that ball. It's possible Rodriguez may have lost that thing in the sun. He was looking right up into the glare. Throw again to first. McElreath is back. The sun passes over our heads here as we are slightly on the third base side, over our left shoulder, and that would have been about where shortstop Rodriguez was looking for that thing. So maybe it was a sun problem. First pitch to Melendez, misses outside with a ball, the count 1-0. Danny 1 for 3, popped up, doubled to right, and grounded to second. Melendez showing bunt, swings and grounds it foul outside of third and down the line. 1-1 the count to Melendez. McElreath back to first. Melendez, the junior first baseman, tapping at the spikes. Now he's back in there, kicking at the dirt, looking for a foothold. On deck, David Main. Matt McElreath away from first base. Chad Dembisky with his sign and sets. The pitch, strike 2 called, fastball at the letters, and the count 1-2 to Melendez. Top of the 8th inning, 3-1 Pepperdine. 3-7-0 for the Waves. 1-7 zip for the Titans of Cal State Fullerton. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2-2. Scattered clouds moving above us. One moment we're in partial shade. The next moment we're in bright sunshine. 2-2 is the count. A throw to first. Set is Dembiski. Throw to first again. So Chad trying to keep McElreath close. 2-2 is the count to the batter Melendez. McElreath with the bleeding bloop single just behind third. Short lead. Throw to first again, and he's back standing this time. Two and two, again the count to Dan Melendez. Back in there, set and pitching. Here's the base runner going. This one's hitting the air to left field. Fading on the ball is Banks. Now he has to come back a little bit to glove it at his knees. Tony having a lot of problems with the balls hit his way. McElreath goes back to first base. He was off with the pitch. Melendez flies to left, and with 2 outs, here's David Main. Main, a fastball hitter against a fastball pitcher. The big left-hander has a double and 2 flyouts to left. First pitch, check swing. He went around, strike one, call. 0-1 to David Main. Main looking to drive one somewhere. McElreath with his lead at first. Here's the pitch. Outside, the count 1-1. On deck, third baseman Mark Wazakowski. Dembiski has his sign. McElreath with his lead and goes back to first on the throw over there. Action in the Fullerton bullpen. Dembiski trying to get the job done here in the 8th and keep his club close. Throw to first again. Time is called now. Home plate umpire Dale Williams wants to dust off home plate. Dembiski has called for a new baseball, and he gets one. Drama beginning to build. 1-1 the count to David Main. Here's the pitch. Swung on and line to right field. It's a base hit. McElreath is going to stop at second. So Main with his second hit of the ball game. David is pretty good at putting a stroke on it when he's facing a fastball pitcher, and he's hit a couple of balls hard today. He's 2 for 4. McElreath at second, now Main at first. 2 out for Wazakowski. Mark singled to right center, grounded to the mound, and lined out to Phil Nevin. Hit the ball hard as last time. Here's the first pitch. Strike called in the inside corner, and the count 0-1 to Wazakowski. Pepperdine leads it by 2, trying to get more here in the top of the 8th inning. Dembiski with his sign, sets. Here's the pitch, way inside, almost got him. The count 1-1 to Wazakowski. McElreath, pretty good speed at second. Maine, not very much speed at first. Wasikowski ready. So is Dembski. Here's the pitch. Check swing. He went around. Strike two. 1-2 is the count to Wasikowski. The on-deck batter is catcher Scott Vollmer. Mike Parisi, a right-hander, continues to throw in the Fullerton bullpen. One and two. Here comes the pitch. Swung on and hit in the air to left center field, fairly deep. Banks going back to the track, to the wall, and it's a collision. Who made the catch? Somebody did, I believe. The left fielder, Tony Banks, made the catch. Banks with the catch, and the side is retired. Without the wind, that's a 3-run homer. But Tony Banks makes the catch on the warning track, and the side is retired. Whoa, a collision in left center, but Banks comes up with it and holds on, and the Waves are shut off without a run here in the top of the 8th inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Stay with us. This is Pepperdine Baseball on K-Wing. Defensively for Pepperdine in the field, David Lovell will be the new third baseman. He replaces Wasikowski. A move not altogether unanticipated. Wasikowski, though he has played a very good third base in the World Series, is removed for Lovell, who has been a defensive replacement numerous times late in the season. David, an excellent glove man, and he'll be at third. But probably of greater significance is there's a new pitcher on the mound. And it's Steve Montgomery, the right-handed closer for Pepperdine. Coach Andy Lopez looking for Monty to close it out and finish out 1992 with a national championship. Wallace came in the 7th inning to get pinch hitter Brent Hemphill to strike out after giving up a base hit to Craig Fairbrother. So Wallace goes 1/3 of an inning in relief of Patrick Ahearne. And now Montgomery has been summoned to finish it out for the Waves. The first pitch misses, ball one, to Nate Rodriguez, the shortstop. There is going to be ample drama before this one's over with. Rodriguez is the number 9 batter in the order. We go back to the top. Next pitch misses, ball two, 2-0. Montgomery did not have a good outing against Texas Thursday night, but he's had a great year. In fact, he's had a great 2 years. He winds and delivers 2-0 inside, and it hits him. Inside, it hits him, and Montgomery will take his base, or rather I should say Rodriguez will take his base. Andy Lopez is going to come out and talk to home plate umpire Dale Williams and ask him where that hit him. Lopez nods okay and turns around and goes back to the dugout. It's got to be Maalox time if you're Andy Lopez. All the buttons he has pushed have been right for so long, and now here you are in the bottom of the 8th inning, and you bring in Montgomery, and the first batter that he faces, he hits. And now that brings the tying run to the plate. Here's Jeremy Carr, the leadoff batter, and he is hit by the pitch. So Montgomery hits Rodriguez and Carr with back-to-back pitches. First and second, nobody out for Cal State Fullerton on back-to-back hit batsmen. And now time is called, and Lopez is going to go to the mound as soon as he gets the attention of Williams, the plate umpire. He's checking on how many visits he has made. Steve obviously pumped up. But what a moment. Montgomery, the acknowledged closer, the ace of the bullpen staff. We had just told you he was not sharp against Texas the other day. But Monty doesn't have an earned run average of 1.67 because he goes around hitting people. As a matter of fact, it's not unusual for Montgomery to hit people. He has done that 8 times this year. On a percentage basis, that's probably the highest on the club. But that's just giving Fullerton 2 free base runners. Now the meeting on the mound is broken up. Scotty Vollmer is still out there talking to Montgomery. Among other problems, you have Chris Powell, the center fielder, at the plate, a .400 hitter, and on deck is Phil Nevin. Well, if Montgomery likes working out of jams, he's going to have a great opportunity right here. It looks like Cal State Fullerton will be attempting the sacrifice. Powell is showing bunt. Melendez is in tight at first. Lovell is halfway at third, in on the grass. The Waves may try to go for the force. Here's the pitch, taken. Ball 1, 1-0. 1 ball and no strikes, the count to Chris Powell. Things have gotten very interesting. Set is Montgomery. Here's the pitch. Taken. Ball 2, 2-0. Sky Lasowitz has gone down to the Pepperdine bullpen to warm up. And he may be heating up in a hurry. Nevin on deck. First and second, nobody out, 2-0 the count. Here's the pitch. No, says Dale Williams. Ball 3, 3-0. So Montgomery is in all kinds of trouble. Powell is trying to give himself up with a sacrifice bunt. Yet the Waves find themselves in trouble because Montgomery can't throw a strike, but now he does. 3-1 is the count. We'll see if the sacrifice is still on.
Last strike, come out!
Powell may be swinging. If he hits it the first, Melendez can't possibly make the play. He's way in on the grass. Bluffed by Montgomery to second base. Powell showing bunt all the way. Melendez only about 60 feet from home plate. Here's the pitch. The bunt is up along third. Montgomery has it and goes to first base in time. And the sacrifice is successful. So second and third now with 1 out for Phil Nevin. Nevin flied to center, singled off Ekdahl's glove at short in the 4th inning, and grounded to the mound in the 6th, and the crowd is roaring because they're walking him intentionally. Well, I'll tell you, this is respect. Pepperdine is walking intentionally the potential go-ahead run. The Waves do not want any part of Phil Nevin. Steve Montgomery with 3 straight wide ones, a 4th one coming up. Here it is, and Nevin will take his base. So the intentional pass loads the bases for catcher Jason Moeller. Moeller actually now playing first base. He started the game behind the plate. The bases are now loaded for Cal State Fullerton. They trail by 2. Pepperdine infield at double play position. Steve Montgomery on the mound. The first pitch coming up to Moeller. Here it is. High ball 1-0. Montgomery snatches at the return throw from Vollmer. Melendez and Nevin talking with each other at first base. They know each other pretty well. Setting is Montgomery. Here's the pitch. Popped up foul. It's going to reach the grandstands, and that will even the count at 1-1. Kind of a strange inning. Hit batsman, sacrifice, intentional walk. Cal State Fullerton still with only 4 hits in the ball game, but they have the tying runs on. In fact, the go-ahead run is on too. 1-1 is the count to Moeller. Here's Montgomery setting the pitch. Inside ball 2-0, and Steve is up with his pitches. Monty walking the tightrope. He was behind on the count to Powell, 3-0. Came back to get a strike, and Powell eventually sacrificed. Montgomery not throwing a lot of strikes. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swung on and hit in the air to center field. Chris Sheff fading on the ball. McElreath will make the catch instead. That's going to score 1. McElreath with the catch. He gets the ball back into second baseman, shortstop Eric Ekdahl. Sacrifice fly makes the score 3-2. The tying run moves up to third, and there's 2 down. Scoring is Rodriguez. To third is Carr. Remaining at first base is Phil Nevin. Now you've got to be careful if you're Scotty Vollmer. Vollmer, the catcher, out talking to his pitcher, saying something to Steve Rodriguez, giving signs. What are we going to do if Nevin takes off? Melendez giving the sign that he will not hold Nevin on the bag. You got another left-hander at the plate. It's Tony Banks, the left fielder. Here's Montgomery to the plate. Swung on and fouled back right here up against the glass right next to us. And the count is no balls and 1 strike. Nevin at first. The tying run, Carr, is at third. Vollmer trying to keep that ball in front of him. Montgomery trying to make an out pitch. 0-1, here it comes. Off speed in the dirt, blocked by Vollmer, and the count 1-1. Fullerton's first run came in the 4th inning on a pass ball. Anything that gets away even remotely close, you've got to believe that Carr's going to try it. Montgomery trying to pitch out of it. 1-1 is the count. Here it comes. Swung on and hit to the right side. Diving stop by Rodriguez. He throws him out. Steve Rodriguez with the diving stop in the hole gets up to throw out Tony Banks. It can't get more exciting than this, can it? Well, stay with us. We're going to the 9th. This is Pepperdine Baseball on K-Wink. We go to the 9th inning. Pepperdine hanging on. Cal State Fullerton hanging tough. 3 runs on 8 hits, no errors for Pepperdine. 2 runs on 4 hits, no errors for Cal State Fullerton. We've had a little bit of everything, certainly throughout the College World Series, but today, no disappointment. What more can you ask for? A 3-2 ball game, a 1-runner in the 9th inning, the last inning of the last game of the 1992 season. Pepperdine will bat here in the 9th. Fullerton will bat shortly in the bottom of the 9th, and they will have to come from behind, will the Titans. The Waves lead it by a singleton, and Scott Vollmer will try to get something started. First pitch from Dembisky, inside, ball 1. Dembisky working quickly, deals to Vollmer. Strike called, 1-1 is the count. The Waves would like to stay up there for a few minutes and let some of the emotion subside. The adrenaline pumping for both teams. Check swing, he went around. Strike 2, 1-2 the count to Scott Vollmer. Scotty with 2 hits today. Singles in the 1st and 7th inning, a ground out in the 4th. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3, dropped by the catcher. Hemphill throws out Vollmer at first base, and there's 1 out here in the top of the 9th inning. The Waves have been very quiet since the 1st inning. The only exception, a home run to left field by a really unexpected source. Eric Ekdahl with his first home run of the year for the Waves in the 5th inning. That is now the margin. The first pitch to Chris Sheff, down low, ball 1, 1-0. Sheff 0 for 2 with a sacrifice. Dembisky ready, here he comes. Swung on a hit high in the air to center field. Back goes Powell, he's to the track. The ball blowing away from him, but he goes over to make the catch. The wind is just scary out there. That ball was hit to the left field side of second base. And Powell ends up making the catch near the warning track in right center. Wow. Powell ran a long ways for that thing. Kind of the circuitous route, but he made it. 2 outs, nobody on, and here's Kevin Delamico. Two outs, top of the 9th inning. Delamico takes in the dirt, it's 1-1. Ekdahl, who is on deck, is the difference in this ball game right now with a solo home run into that wind that just made the left field bleachers in the 5th inning. Next pitch, swung on and dribbled out in front of the plate. Delamico racing, throw to first in time, made by the catcher Hemphill to Moeller, and the side very quickly retired here in the top of the 9th inning. Well, it's going to come down to Pepperdine on defense. Stay with us. This is Waves Baseball on K-Wing. It's the bottom of the 9th inning. Last chance for Fullerton. Last chance for the Waves too, for that matter. The Waves defense, that is. On the mound is the guy you probably want out there. He's been your closer for 2 years. He's an All-American twice. Scotty Vollmer behind the plate. Dan Melendez at first. Steve Rodriguez with the great play to save the lead to end the 8th inning. He's the second baseman. Shortstop is Eric Ekdahl. Third baseman David Lovell. Put in for his glove. In left field, it's Kevin Delamico. Chris Sheff is in center. Matt McElreath is in right. Those are the Waves who will attempt to record 3 more outs and bring home the first baseball national championship in the 50-odd years that the university has been playing the game. This crowd has loved this one, haven't you? It's nervous time in Omaha, and here comes Steve Montgomery with the first pitch. Strike called to Steve Cisco, the second baseman. The 6, 7, and 8 batters in the order for Fullerton here in the bottom of the 9th inning. I'm Tim Wilhelm with Mike Sapolsky, and we are delighted to have been able to bring this to you. Hope you're loving it. 0-1 pitch. Strike 2 called. Montgomery took a little something off. Pepperdine fans over the first base dugout. Up on every strike, then down again. Then up on every strike, then down again. 0-2 is the count. Here's the pitch. Just misses high in the count, 1-2. Two Southern California schools battling it out, looking across the dugout at a lot of their friends. A lot of these guys have grown up together, but none of that matters right now. 1-2 pitch is on the way to Cisco. Here it is. Swung on and grounded towards short. Ekdahl charges, one-hands it, throws him out. The Pepperdine dugout is seated. Poise, confidence, nervous stomachs. Two outs left. Here's Craig Fairbrother, the designated hitter. The left-hander with the wind blowing out to right. Pitch high and outside, ball one, 1-0. Yogi was right, wasn't he? It's never over. 1-0 pitch. Montgomery is ready. Grips it and delivers. Check swing strike. 1-1. One and one is the count to Fairbrother. Ground out, strikeout, single to right off of Wallace in the 7th inning. Next pitch, off speed, swung on and missed, strike 2. Montgomery took something off. Fairbrother way out in front. This crowd has seen one outstanding World Series. Great games, great players. And today, boy, what a capper. 3-2 Pepperdine, one out, bottom of the 9th. Steve Montgomery has his sign. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Fastball outside and high, 2-2. Fairbrother out of the box, still 1 foot out. Now he's back in, taps the plate. Swinging the bat around, Montgomery shaking no, now yes, he's ready. He winds, he delivers. High and outside, ball 3, 3-2. Full count now to Fairbrother. On deck, Hemphill. Another left-hander. Montgomery wants to avoid the base on balls. 3-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled back to the left side into the grandstands. The count remains full. Fairbrother with 7 home runs this year. 23 runs batted in. The wind continues to blow. The flag straight out on the flagpole, blowing toward the right field corner. Anything up in the air to that direction is gone. Montgomery knows it. Trying to be careful with these left-handed hitters to keep the ball away. Fairbrother, the lefty, in there. He's ready. Here comes Monty with the 3-2 pitch. Swung on and hit in the air to center field. It's a tricky wind, but here comes Sheff, still charging. He's got it, and there's 2 down. Now some of the waves up. Hats off, running their hands through their hair. In the dugout. Now they go back and sit down. Pepperdine, 1 out away from the national championship. Cal State Fullerton, 1 swing of the bat away from tying it up. Montgomery, the right-handed ace, has his sign. He delivers. Swung on and hit in the air to right field. This might do it. McElreathen Rodriguez. Rodriguez, the second baseman, makes the catch. Mob scene inside the infield in front of the second base area that occupies usually the talents of Steve Rodriguez. How fitting that Rodriguez saved the Waves lead in the 8th inning with a great diving play. He makes the catch on the pop fly to end the ball game. Now out there near his position, they are passing out the t-shirts that say Pepperdine University 1992 National Champions. Can you believe it? There's hugs. There's warm embraces. The ceremony will be shortly at home plate. And the championship trophy will be presented to the Pepperdine Waves in a few minutes. We're going to take a break. Stay with us. We'll be right back in 1 minute. This is Waves Baseball on K-Wave.